what do you get when you mix $800 million, 12 years of development, and a fan base as diversive as Marmites? Well, you get Star Citizen, and one burning question: is it actually worth it? A few quick disclaimers before we dive in. First, I'm in no way affiliated with Cloud Imperium Games. I know, shocking considering my massive following. Second, I've only purchased the starter package, so everything I fly besides my starter ship has been earned completely through gameplay. And finally, I do usually play with friends. Now, it has opened up a lot of doors for me, but if this video gets you off the fence and into a cockpit, I'd be thrilled to fly alongside you. Now our coordinates are locked, we're in quantum and well underway, let me take you back for just a moment. It's 2012. Despite signs that it might actually be the end times, a British person losing Wimbledon, Gangnam Style going viral, or Chris Evans saying the word assemble for the first time, the Mayans, well, they were wrong. The world, it didn't end, but something did begin. Chris Roberts, the mind behind Wing Commander, steps out of retirement with a vision. A living, breathing space sim that would make every other game look like Pong in a spacesuit. He launches a Kickstarter. The goal, $500,000. The result, over $2 million was raised in weeks, and that was very much just the beginning. The hype, it was real. The dream was massive, and the money, oh, it kept on coming. By 2014, players were flying ships in Arena Commander. By 2016, they were walking around planets. That is, if they didn't fall through them. And by 2025, we've got a sprawling, still in alpha universe funded by over $800 million in backer money. Not quite the most expensive ever made, GTA 6. However, it's not even finished. It has been called a scam, a masterpiece, vaporware, and visionary. Sometimes all of that's said in the same sentence, but one thing is for sure, Star Citizen isn't just a game, it's a saga, and you're about to find out what it's like to step into. Now, we jump to February 2025. I used the referral code, downloaded the game, installed it, and logged in for the very first time. Would you like to play the tutorial? Nah, I'll do my own thing, I thought. So I crafted the most generic character imaginable. So generic, in fact, that later, when I was wearing a clear helmet, I couldn't actually tell that anything had changed, despite being given someone else's face. So, I spawned a new Babbage. I spent the next 20 minutes jogging around this unfamiliar location, trying to gear up. Confused? Massively. That is, until my mate jumped online and dropped a few years of hard-earned knowledge on me, keeping that slog to 20 minutes instead of 20 hours. Then came the question. So, what do you want to do? Not a clue. Not a single one. So I followed his lead. We ran a few cargo missions, became a shadow extension of the Planet Express crew. Then we turned to combat on the ground, in space. The worlds were our oysters. My ambition? Vast. My skill level? Less so. Cue the 20-minute gear-up loop. Again and again. Dying to bugs was one thing. Dying because of bugs? Oh my days, it was a whole other thing. At one point, I genuinely reached a bug spray.
The only good bug is a dead bug.
But it wasn't all bad. Like that time I stepped off my ship, and I was instantly flung into orbit. I howled, almost doubling over as my mate tried, obviously failing, to catch my ragdoll plummeting body back to the planet. And bless him, he really did try his best. However, we were faced with what is one of the prevalent issues in the game, in that the desync can be eternally frustrating. That being said, it's not something that you're always going to be encountering. There are points when realistically what that desync is going to look like is you targeting a ship and it slightly jitters away. Not the end of any worlds, no need to fire up your Death Star. Though I must admit there was a slight hit of nostalgia that came with this, in that I finally understood what it felt like to be a bowl of petunias.
Oh no, not again.
Getting back on track. Now I joined at a quite curious moment, just as the galaxy had started taking itself a little more seriously. In their words, it was the year of stability. And to be fair, things genuinely have started looking up. Players have started receiving priority missions. My first was resupplying Pyro. It's a lawless, half-charged system where the stations are one hepatitis mutation away from Mad Max, and the water is, well, let's say it's reclaimed.
This is piss.
Questionable choices of beverage aside, we gathered up our supplies and set a course straight through the wormhole. Now, this is what some people will call a loading screen, though to give it that name feels a bit disingenuous. When a missile can chase you through it, and your ship's existence starts to feel more suggestion, it's less loading and much more surviving in limbo with a flare. Hitchhiking missiles behind us, we slammed back into Newtonian sanity and found purpose waiting for us already. The Citizens for Prosperity. They had this sort of Malcolm Reynolds energy, part freedom fighter, part space scavenger, all my kind of charm. They gave us direction, we took it. After all, our cargo wasn't exactly delivered, more like liberated from the holds of bounty targets. Morally grey? Sure, but it felt like we were tipping the scales in the right direction.
Is that what you tell yourself at night?
But that didn't last. Before long, we were running shady data escorts, staging outpost seizures, and gunning down anyone that didn't wear our patch. The lines blurred fast. Maybe we weren't rebels after all. At some point, the diplomacy ran out, and well...
Started blasting. Bang! Bang!
Look, I won't pretend I didn't develop a taste for PvP. Eventually, even Stanton, the lawful system, it wasn't off limit for me. I'd take risks in there too. I'd be willing to be flagged as a criminal. I knew full well it'd paint a target on my back for other players, and honestly, that was part of the fun. There was a 20-minute gear loop before, grabbing armour, snagging a weapon, diving into the next scrap. It was a bit of a ritual, unofficial, inelegant. A patch on a system that wasn't quite in place. But it had rhythm, and for a while, that rhythm worked. Now, with the persistence of keeping your gear after death, that loop has been broken, and honestly, I'm glad. The downtime has gone, that sting has been softened, but let's not kid ourselves, it's temporary, it's not the end product. That tension between risk and reward, sure, it's muted for now. Still, I do miss going in, taking someone's fancy armour off the still warm rig, and as a minimum cost player, for me, that was a taste of getting that subscriber life. Look, who knows, if that rumoured armour hacking system ever goes live, then maybe I'll go hunting a few more whales of my own. Now, I get it, this all sounds overwhelmingly positive, right? If Star Citizen's so great, how did it earn all that bad press? Well, it hasn't exactly been smooth sailing through the stars. We had a whole stretch from March to April when logging in felt like winning the lottery. Playing, that was the bonus round. To the devs' credit, they got that fixed. But it is worth remembering. Is there still a clunky manual feel to loading boxes? Absolutely. Do certain ships still treat cargo like a snack? Yep. Does cargo sometimes decide to channel Sue Storm and vanish into the void? Without a doubt. And those Copians still growling in the sleep? Yeah. That is one that is starting to haunt my dreams. There are issues. There is no hiding that. Sometimes it's something small, like a fuse refusing to slot into a socket and a door can't open. It just decides it's taking a break, and sure, that is frustrating. Do I blame players for looting a fallen NPC or each other just to clip through that same door? Honestly, not always. Survival demands creativity. The real sting is when you set your sights on a task, commit to it, and then meet a Cerberus-sized bug standing in the way. It sucks, there's no other word for it. But to be fair, it's not every time. And I will admit, I'm hitting those walls far less frequently now. Unless, of course, we're talking about lifts, or spawning a ship. Those can bring your night to a hard stop. I used to sprint through every open doorway like I owned the place. Now, I stare into the void beneath a missing platform and weigh my odds. These days, I log out with the kind of speed that'll make a gunslinger blush, just to dodge whatever hell waits behind the next hiccup. Survival in Star Citizen isn't just about ships and shields, it's about creativity. Sometimes it means realizing that the pickup button isn't just broken, it's actively mocking you. So you pivot, you open your inventory, you drag the box in manually, and you pretend that was always the plan. These aren't bugs you stumble over anymore, the puzzles you pre-solve. A bizarre meta minigame where the reward isn't XP or credits, it's the satisfaction of dodging a server hiccup like a seasoned space whisperer. I know I sound high on the copium, But hear me out. The current story arc is about a regeneration crisis. Bodies failing to properly come back from death. Meanwhile, we've got Copians still growling from the afterlife. I mean, if that's not foreshadowing, then I've been clipping through doors for nothing. And I really am not kidding you. There was the first part of the mission where we were genuinely collecting Copian horns. I don't know if this was a joke from the devs, but if it wasn't, it's a fantastic cosmic synchronicity. Let's be honest, we've all got a hard drive full of games that we swore we'd try or play again, but we never seem to stray too far. Not when the next update drops at the mercy of one man's vision, or as I've taken to saying in the verse, Chris wills it! There's something that you can't quite explain. Stepping out of the habs and climbing into your own personal death trap, leaving terra firma for the stars. You are not a ship. You're the hands behind it. Whether you're piloting a cargo crate or a football stadium in space, the scale hits you. And when you drift from one vessel to another in 0G, oh my days, even running on ancient back-end tech, it's magnificent. Let's take it for what it is. It's a sandbox, like the X series or Freelancer, another beloved title from Chris himself by the way, but you can even spot the design DNA. Let's look back at the screenshot I showed earlier, and then at the cockpit of my Cutlass Black. There's a lineage there, and just for the record, I earned that Cutlass in-game, paid for with the funds from the missions that I gave you a snapshot of earlier, and that's just in my first few months. I've experienced so much, a universe truly in motion, a growing narrative, the chance to sit in the pilot seat of ships that are way beyond my actual budget, and that's thanks to shows like Invictus, an in-game event, or it's come from me persuading my friends to do something unethical and steal someone else's ship. And look, I'm not here to tell you what to spend, that's your choice. For me, I have enjoyed starting from the bottom and clawing my way up, not because it's noble, but because the game is genuinely fun when it works, and when it does, it's truly one of a kind. I love space sims, always have. There's something about the stars that hooks me every time, but there's the thing that's always true with the ever expanding void of space. They've always been lonely affairs. Sure, you're in a universe, but you don't live in it, you don't share it. Star Citizen, there's a glimmer of something different. The possibility of building stories together, ridiculous ones, terrifying ones, unforgettable ones. It's that shared chaos, that collective awe. That is what excites me. I mean, look at the size of this thing. So getting to the point, where do I land? Look, it isn't finished. It's not always stable. We've only just got rain on some of the planets. Now, depending on what the phase of the moon is, you might not even get your ship to launch. But it's also unlike anything else out there. When it works, it really works. The immersion, the scale, the potential for storytelling, it's all there, buried under layers of ambition and jank. Would I recommend it? Well, that truly depends. If you're looking for a polished experience with clear goals and guaranteed uptime, maybe come back later. But if you're the kind of type that's going to try to find magic in the mess, the kind who doesn't mind reading patch notes like a gospel and forging memories and a bit of mayhem, then yeah, there's something special here. Because Star Citizen isn't really just a game that you're going to play. It's a universe that you're going to survive, adapt to, and occasionally glitch through, with a crew at your side and a story that you're still writing. And just as a side note, look, the whole reading of the patch notes like a gospel, there's plenty of people out there that'll do that job for you and put the video on YouTube. By all means, if you don't want to read them, go watch the content, you'll help them out, and at the end of the day, you'll get the information that you need. Still so much I haven't touched on. So, if you'd like to see more, let me know. And hey, if you're feeling generous, throw me a follow. I hope this has been helpful. I'll drop the website below along with my referral code. No pressure at all to use it, but if you do, we both get a little something. And if you've got thoughts, agree, disagree, or just want to remind me that I'm high on the copium, drop a comment, I'll be reading. But if you, like me, hear that call to explore the stars, then let's lay in a course and see where this journey takes us.